Now, the K-Flock story. We definitely gotta talk about this one. Some of y'all might recognize the name K-Flock, a young rapper who's been on an up and up. He's been making some waves this last year. The other day, K-Flock got arrested for murder though. This news has been going kinda crazy in the headlines, and I have a couple things to say about it, so yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, K-Flock, like I said, some people might recognize the name. K-Flock is an 18-year-old rapper out of the Bronx who's been rising very quickly, especially these last couple months. He has a couple records that have been going kind of crazy. A lot of them have racked up millions and millions of views on his platform we call YouTube. K-Flock actually got signed to a major label earlier this year. Specifically in July, he signed to Capitol Records, and he's honestly been on the verge of popping off big time. I found out about him a couple months back, and from the way his entire movement was looking, he was about to do some great things in the music world. With this recent news that just broke though, I'm not sure about that anymore. Like I said at the beginning of the video, K-Flock just got arrested for murder. This story is going pretty crazy on social media at the moment. There's a couple interesting things about it, but let's not get ahead of ourselves and let's talk about it. So the story is this: Kevin Perez, professionally known as K-Flock, was taken into custody Thursday on November 23rd. This arrest stems from something that happened about a week ago on the 16th of December. K-Flock was allegedly visiting a barbershop on Amsterdam Avenue in New York right before 10 a.m. on the 16th, when, according to the police, K-Flock opened the door to the barbershop and asked another man who was there what he was looking at. The man, who went by the name of Oscar Hernandez, then walked outside the barbershop to confront K-Flock. That then led to some kind of argument. According to the police, K-Flock then allegedly pulled out a gun and shot Oscar Hernandez in the neck and in the back. Oscar was then taken to a hospital nearby where he was unfortunately pronounced dead. Shortly after this, K-Flock became a wanted man for murder. There was officially a warrant for his arrest. On December 16, 2021, at approximately 9:53 a.m., the above pictured individual, also known as K-Flock, did discharge a 9mm firearm at the victim, causing the victim's demise in front of 1836 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, in the confines of the 30th precinct, the police say. So, like you heard, this homicide allegedly went down right next to a police station. That's according to the police. Continuing, the above pictured perpetrator has previous gun charges and should be considered armed and dangerous. The perpetrator is a known Third Side gang member, the police said. After this, the police released this photo right here, which is supposed to be K-Flock. If you're looking at the screen, then you can clearly see that his face isn't visible on here, but the rest of the body is. He got a little Montclair jacket on, and I think that right there is that Amiri pants? I wouldn't know because I don't buy designer, but anyway. After this video was released by the cops, K-Flock was then arrested by the police. They then put up this tweet after his arrest saying, "Update: as a result of the outstanding work by your 30th precinct detectives, along with the support of many other investigators and some of our law enforcement partners, the individual responsible for this crime is now in custody." So K-Flock is in police custody at the moment, and it's not looking good for him. With that being said, there are a couple things that don't really match up with what the police said. As an example, this footage right here. The security footage was actually released today, and the person who the police claim is K-Flock never went into the barbershop. So the initial report about how he walked into the barbershop, that might actually not be accurate, judging from this video. In this security footage, what looks like to be the victim, Oscar Hernandez, is actually seen walking towards K-Flock, so he opens the door and confronts him. If this is how it went down, that changes a lot of things for K-Flock. In that case, maybe he gets let off the hook for murder and catches a manslaughter charge instead. I want to say his lawyer could possibly argue for self-defense, but anyone who's out there in New York, you guys will confirm this. The gun laws in New York are pretty damn strict. So if he had a gun on him and he used it to take down Oscar Hernandez, regardless of if it was self-defense, that's not gonna fly in New York. He's just not gonna be let off the hook completely, even if that's what happened. This security footage definitely changes my perception of this entire situation, because if K-Flock wasn't the instigator of this particular incident, could have he just been protecting himself? Maybe some more security footage is gonna come out and that's gonna paint a completely different picture of the situation. But what I'm wondering is, why would the police say that he went into the barbershop and asked Oscar what you're looking at, when judging from this footage that we're seeing, he's not even seen walking in? And also, the initial report slash story seems a little bit too reckless. I mean, you're about to get a fresh cut in the AM, you walk into a barbershop on some hostile vibes. As soon as you walk in, you check one of the customers for liquor looking at you. You go outside, the customer follows you, both of you argue, and then you pop him. Again, it seems a little bit too reckless. I digress though. The situation at hand for K-Flock is what it is. He's been accused of murdering 24-year-old Oscar Hernandez outside of that barbershop on Amsterdam Avenue in New York. At this point, I don't think the question is, was the person on a photo really K-Flock? Personally, I think that is K-Flock for a couple reasons. Number one, witnesses. You can't avoid witnesses in a situation like this, especially since it was broad daylight. Number two, security footage. They probably traced him from the barbershop to his home, etc. before they picked him up. Number three, he had a cell phone in his hands, so they most likely did the cell phone ping in order to determine his location at the time of the crime. The question, as far as I can see right now, is if he did it, why did he do it? Like I said earlier, if K-Flock wasn't the instigator and if he maybe was simply protecting himself, then a murder charge is most likely out of the picture if that's what happened. If K-Flock did it, since it's New York, he's not gonna walk scot-free. That is close to impossible. He's most likely gonna get some kind of manslaughter charge, maybe gun charge on top of that. I don't know. All I know is that it's a very bad situation he's in. This is a developing story though, keep that in mind. So obviously there's a lot we still don't know. The situation for K-Flock right now is he's in custody, accused of murder. What happens for K-Flock from here? Well, I guess only time will tell. But yeah, the K-Flock story. Any thoughts on this pretty crazy story? Like we covered, K-Flock, one of the more prominent young rappers coming out of New York right now, was just arrested for murder. Do you have any thoughts on it? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.